The PPPA is an agency of the Ministry of Defence. We're about 1,200 employees operating on 3 sites, and that in itself has challenges for knowledge management, because how do you make sure that everyone knows what's going on across all the sites? The reality is that these are all HR issues that affect an employee and the way they behave in the organisation, but they're not there to do HR. You know, if you're employed as a doctor, you want to be doing doctoring things. So my vision is that you can type a question, click search, and get the answer in 1 click. And I guess on average we're about 6 clicks and 20 minutes away from the answer today. I want to be 1 click and milliseconds away from the answer in the future. What happens in reality in this ad hoc world is that someone finds the answer to the question and they keep it in their head, which is great because they can search it next time they get that call. The problem is there's 100 colleagues who can't search that head. They're going back and asking the same question time and time again. What we really found was that once word got out that you got different answers depending on who you spoke to, or you might get an inconsistent answer, that people would start phoning up several times to get an answer they wanted. So for instance, you phone up and you say, what's my leave entitlement, and someone tells you 22 days, and you might phone again and someone might tell you it's 23, and people kept phoning until they accepted the answer that was most beneficial for them. And what, you know, this created a huge volume of additional activity and very much destroyed, you know, some of the reputation of the agency. When we first brought them in and said we've got this knowledge management system, they were very sceptical. But it was important that we got them on board, because whatever solution we come up with has to be the solution for the agents, not for me. They're going to use it day in, day out, and it's going to make their job better or worse. So they were, you know, very much, you know, we don't believe it, we don't think anything can solve our problem. And they came in with questions that they really thought would prove that the system was not going to work. But by the end of it, they were like, wow, this is fantastic. You know, we're a high percentage of the time, not only are we finding the right document, but we're finding the right paragraph in the right document. The only problem we've had is that they wanted it tomorrow. Great innovation, ideas, enthusiasm, wanting to understand our business has been really important. And since we've launched the project, I think one of the real keys has been that we're working as a joint team. It's two groups of people working together to a single solution. You really can't tell who's who other than the colour badge they're wearing on their jacket. So I think for us, being able to have much better control over how long the calls are taking and a much better feel for who's performing well. And I think, you know, the real gain for me is the morale in the service centre. I have a service centre that's been under the cosh now for 18 months, you know, not performing to the level they want to perform to. You know, none of them come into work to do a bad job. But in the last 2 years, that we've changed dramatically. We've moved from an organisation that's doing transactions based on very set rules to much more knowledge-based activity. You know, one person's long-term sickness is very different from another person's long-term sickness. You know, and the way you want to deal with them, it's not a process. It's about dealing with an individual in a particular case, which requires knowledge. It requires being able to interpret things, not just apply rules. We're currently getting about 65,000 calls a month, which is 3,500 calls a day. And using the knowledge base, using the Inquirer product, I mean, I really believe we could halve that. So, you know, halving the number of calls, saying that, you know, a good chunk of those people will be self-sufficient, is not an unreasonable expectation. And I reckon in terms of cost, that's probably somewhere between £500,000 and £750,000 a year saving.
Customers understand the importance of a consistent, relevant support experience and recognize the value of a single platform to deliver it. Find out how the Knowledge Platform can impact your business.